What's going on, guys? 8BitGlitch79 here, and we did it. We made it to the 12th day of the 12 nostalgic days of Christmas. Didn't think I was gonna make it to here, but look at where we are. We did. So I appreciate everybody who followed this series and watched and commented. I tell you what, the thought of doing this again this year and all the work that goes into it, it kind of stressed me out and kind of discouraged me from wanting to do it. But after reading all the comments along the way from all you guys, giving your memories and sharing your thoughts and everything, it really makes it worth it. It truly puts a smile on my face to see that these stories from our guests and from myself have really touched you and maybe hopefully brightened your Christmas season, and especially the end of this unprecedented year that we've had so far. So enough of that, enough of the thank yous. Let's move on to our first guest. Now, our first guest is somebody who I connected with late last year, I think, and a lot this year. He reached out to me, and when he made his first video and asked me to check it out because he loved my channel and loved my videos and wanted to get my input on what he did on his first episode that he did. And I felt truly touched by that, because there's a lot of people that I've had on this series and on my channel that inspired me to do this, and to think that now I've inspired somebody else to do it, it just really kind of made it full circle for me. I want to throw it over to Game Bunker Adventures. He does some great pickups and unboxing videos. He does VGM, Retro Game Treasure, a bunch of other like subscription boxes for like Pops or pop culture unboxings. Different things like that. He's done some of the GameStop roulette kind of things inspired by mine, which were fun. He's done some great overviews and reviews on like the Oculus recently, and just other games and stuff like that. So his channel is very fun. Every time it uploads, I gotta watch it instantly. I just love watching his stuff. So please give him a like, give him a sub, check him out. Tell him 8-Bit sent you. And what do you got for us?
What's going on, everybody out in YouTube land? Game Bunker Adventures here, or GBA for short. I just want to say thank you so very much to 8BitGlitch79 for inviting me onto his channel to do the 12 nostalgic days of Christmas. I appreciate you, man. Always looked up to you, and thank you again for inviting me on your channel. So instead of one game, I want to talk about a series of games really quick that really shaped who I am as a gamer. So for those of you who don't know, the NES is my all-time favorite console. So we're going to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. So this is a game that we played a lot in the arcades, and when it came home to the NES, we were very excited for it. Now, obviously, it took a bit of a graphical decline, but they did add some stuff to the game that really helped, counteract that. And, back in the day, we weren't too, obsessed with graphics anyway. It was all about the gameplay, and these games had it. These were great games to play with your friends, two-player. One of the great things about these games, though, is it's almost as much fun to watch your friends play as it is to play yourself. So yeah, I just had a ton of fun with this game. Up until this game, the only game that we played more than this was the original Super Mario Bros. I remember playing this a ton after school. I mean, for hours. Those memories are engraved into my brain. I can still remember the snacks that we ate every single day after school while we were playing this game. But yeah, such a great game. Played it for so long. And to a lesser extent, later on they released Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project, and we were eagerly anticipating this game because of the second game. And this game is a lot of the same. It plays very similar, it looks very similar, but it just didn't quite have that magic as the second game did. But still a great game. If you guys haven't played it, you should. We still spent a ton of time on this game. But fast forwarding to the 16-bit generation, you had Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. Another game that we played a ton in the arcades, and when it came home to the Super Nintendo, we were amazed at how close this game was to the arcade version. We would have sleepovers at each other's house. We would literally spend all night playing this game. So much fun. Very, very close graphically, sound-wise to the arcade, at least to me it was, especially back in the day. But this was a great game, and it was a good follow-up to the NES games. To a lesser extent, as far as nostalgia goes, we have Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist on Sega Genesis. And I say that because I didn't really play this a lot as a kid. I found this later on in life, pretty much into adulthood, but it's such a good game. I still remember us getting together and playing this in 2-player mode, you know, like I said, as adults. And, you know, to this day, we'll still go back to Hyperstone Heist, we'll still go back to Turtles in Time, even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. We'll play those to this day because they are just such good games and they're classics in my opinion. They shaped who I was as a gamer back then. They created my love for beat-em-ups, and that continues to this day. Beat-em-ups is one of my favorite genres of games. But yeah, so that is what I wanted to talk about on the 12 Nostalgic Days of Christmas. I just have a lot of fond memories of these games, and if you guys haven't played them for whatever reason, you definitely should. But once again, guys, thank you so very much to 8BitGlitch79 for inviting me on his channel. But I think I'm going to go play some of these video games. Try to enjoy the rest of my evening. So until next time, everyone, I'll see you later.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games are gotta be some of the most classic and nostalgic games for people. I mean, that series on TV and the toy line and everything was just exploded when I was a kid, and it was like the biggest thing at the time. So it's no surprise that you would pick Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a nostalgic series for you. I mean, because I think that has to be for a lot of people, for the majority of people. I have to say that first game on the NES, it was a little weird and it was difficult as a kid to get through that. But that second one, the port of the arcade game, now that arcade game is fantastic. It's one of my favorite beat 'em ups. So having that on the NES was a thrill back when I was a kid. So thank you for sharing that. So now I want to throw it over to our final guest of the 12 Nostalgic Days of Christmas. And I had to save these two for the final one because they are near and dear to my heart, and they are near and dear to a lot of people in the community. I mean, they've been nicknamed the mom and dad of YouTube, and I'm talking about Do You Nerd, Tom and Lacey. Oh my god, I remember following them for a few years now, and it's just like every time they upload a video, it's like instant happiness. I mean, I just see the thumbnail and I'm already smiling. So with that, I want to throw it over to the mom and dad of YouTube, Tom and Lacey of Do You Nerd. What do you have for us, guys?
What's up, nerdlings?
Hello, nerdlings.
Tom and Lacey of Do You Nerd here, and a huge thank you to 8-Bit Glitch for having us on board for your 12 nostalgic days of Christmas.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
All right, well, let's get those memories going. So, ladies first.
Well, for me, it's going to be Christmas of 2015. Now, I know that's not that long ago, but this is a Christmas gift that always springs to mind when people ask, you know, do you have a nostalgic Christmas gift or a good Christmas memory? And that would be when I got my BB-8. Now, Mr. Tom here got it for me, and I was super shocked because I didn't realize there was a BB-8 this big. I was super into BB-8 that year when Star Wars Force Awakens came out, and I actually was really hoping there was a smaller one that was about this big, and I was hoping I would get that for Christmas, and hinted around, and then I go and open this big guy, and I was like, oh, it comes bigger, and I was so excited and so happy, and it was such a shock surprise. But anytime anybody says, what's a good Christmas gift that you've gotten? This one always springs to mind. And you know what else is so great about this guy? Oh yeah, he makes noises. And I'm just a little bit of a BB-8 fan.
Just a little, you goofball.
I know. What about you? What have you got?
Well, as far as nostalgic Christmas memories, I guess I would have to go back to about 11 years ago when you and I started celebrating Christmas together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in all honesty, growing up, my family didn't always have the most money, so whenever other people talk about getting video games for birthdays and Christmases, that really wasn't the case in our household. You know, I mean, we did our best to get by, and when I was out on my own, you know, it's like Christmas was just kind of an afterthought. I generally worked through it, in all honesty. But when we got together, not only did she start really pushing me to get into that holiday spirit, but this lady here has showered me with all kinds of awesome nerdy gifts. I mean, the stuff that she gets me year after year, this is the kind of stuff that I would have loved getting as a child. And I love getting it as an adult, trust me. But not only does she take care of me, she usually makes sure I've updated some kind of Amazon wish list or something, or she puts some earworms into her family's ears to make sure they're getting me some cool stuff too. And honestly, even though it's not that old and it's kind of a, spread over a little more than a decade now, that's kind of what's made me so nostalgic for Christmas. Just all the great new memories you are adding to the holiday season for me.
Well, it wouldn't be Christmas in this household without some kind of video game.
That's true. That's very true. Well, thanks again so much, 8-Bit Glitch, for having us on your 12 nostalgic days of Christmas. And we will see you guys later.
Bye, nerdlings.
Oh my God, Lacey, that BB-8 is amazing. I remember going to Disney a few years back, obviously before they just opened up the new Star Wars world, but they always had some Star Wars stuff. And when I went, it was like the number one thing that I wanted to do. And I remember going there and being in one of the stores there, and they had the BB-8. It was like a realistic BB-8 rolling around in the store and interacting with people and stuff. And it was just like, it was like true to life. It was like, came off the screen and was right there in front of me. It was amazing. I mean, Disney does some fantastic stuff. I mean, that could be a video on its own. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. It made me think of that memory. And Tom, geez, way to pull at the heartstrings, man. You are fantastic with that. I mean, geez, I was ready to get tissues out. You talking about Christmas and how Lacey's opened that up to you a lot more and really brought that Christmas spirit out of you. And that's just fantastic, and that's what this season's all about. So you're a couple of tearjerkers there. So thank you for sharing, guys. So this is the final episode. It's the final time for me to speak, and it's the perfect thing that Tom talked about that leads into my memory. I don't really have an object or a thing right now, but it's really to show. But it's really just a memory. And it's a specific Christmas. It was Christmas of 1986. Now, we didn't have a video cassette, like a video camera to take videos or anything like that when I was a kid. This stuff was way too expensive. But what my father did for that Christmas was he set up a tape recorder and kind of hid it in the living room and just let it record our voices and stuff, kind of like a radio show. And he didn't tell anybody, and he just had it playing. And it's just amazing. I've listened to that so many times over the years, but it was really, truly the one Christmas that is stuck into my mind out of all Christmases. It was a Christmas where my brother and sister were still living with us, because again, they're 10 and 12 years older than me, so they moved out of the house pretty quickly in my, early in my childhood. So it was almost like I was growing up as an only child for a while in the house, because they were all off having their own lives and doing their own thing. So it's the last Christmas that I remember my brother and sister both being at home, and my grandmother was living with us because we had just recently lost my grandfather. So she was going through that, and my dad was and everything, and we all were. So she was living with us, so she was there that Christmas, and so it was a big full Christmas, full big family Christmas that I love having and with my own family now. So it's the last one I remember it being that. I mean, I was 7 years old, my sister was 18, my brother was 20, my mom was 40, and my dad was 46. So they're like my age, now I'm like 41. So my parents were my age now during this Christmas. So it's kind of trippy to be talking about a Christmas that I'm the same age as my parents were at the time. So it's pretty cool. So I just recently listened to that again, and I actually got it down onto my computers because it's all on a cassette tape still and still works. And so I wanted to preserve that and save it in case anything ever happened to that cassette. That was the Christmas, to back up, that it just felt like there was a million gifts. Now, my parents never put gifts under the tree during the season. I've heard a lot of stories of people saying their gifts were under the tree for weeks and they would sneak and do that. I never knew where my gifts were ever growing up. I never saw them. The only gifts that may have been under the tree were maybe a couple for other people who were outside the house that my mom would just put there. But as far as gifts for anybody in the family, they were never seen until Christmas morning. So every Christmas when we'd wake up, that empty looking tree would just be piled high all of a sudden. It was like magic. It just really instilled that magic, miracle Christmas feeling every year, and I thank my parents for that, and they did a great job of doing that. I don't know how they pulled it off every year, but they did, because I'll tell you what, I looked for those gifts, and I have no idea how they did it to this day. And you know what, I don't think I ever want to ask them, because I don't want it ruined. I love having that magical feeling of how my parents pulled off magic and Christmas rather every morning. So anyways, you'll hear in this video I come down, I'm like freaked out, and I'm like, wow, because there's a bunch, and I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really see them all until I get my glasses and stuff. And I know that was the year I got like everything. I mean, it was the year I got my Castle Grayskull. I remember I got these the Chipmunks music stage set with all the chipmunks in a big like stage set. I think I might have got my slime pit for He-Man on there. I got a bunch of He-Man figures. I got a G.I. Joe stuff. I remember my brother got me the first 2 Ozzy Osbourne cassettes, The Diary of a Madman and Blizzard of Oz, on cassette with my own tape recorder. That was for my brother. Oh my God, he was always trying to spark that metal in me all the time. So I thank him for that. But yeah, it was just, I remember getting so many things that Christmas. It was like, I don't know how my dad pulled it off with the way we were living. You know, we didn't have a lot of money, and that Christmas, it was just, I don't know how he pulled it off. It was just the best Christmas ever. So I just wanted to share those quick memories with that, and I want to conclude the episode just playing some of that audio with some visuals to watch, some Christmas videos, some of the toys, maybe some pictures of that, and just let you listen in on that 1986 Christmas. So until next year, guys, until the next video, subscribe. I'm glitching out. Enjoy.
Whoa! Keep it for you.
What you looking for now?
Oh, that's funny! Yeah, I know. Here. Thank you, Sean, for the cookies. Here's some pennies for your bank. Don't fair. See you next year. Ah,
I
good
didn't even see this. You know, it didn't even do money. What did you think, Sean?
What's that too?
I don't know.
How do you know it's for me? How do you know it's for me?
Look at the presents. We can take our time. We can enjoy the morning. Right? You want something to drink before Mommy gets in here and everything?
Yeah.
What would you like?
I'll walk an hour after that. I hope I get Cash Grayskull slick my fight joint. Look at my glasses are beautiful. No, everyone get
This
that?
orange juice, babe?
Did you open up some already?
Yeah.
Yeah, orange
Just a
juice.
couple. You do pretty excited. You only opened 2 of one of Grandma's big one over there, and then one from Howie's family.
Hope you gonna take a
Who's
picture.
big one is that,
Sean?
Sean?
My mouth and I call
Yeah,
you don't got no
I
camera.
forgot the wow.
Oh, good. Now I can rock.
Yeah,
I don't want mine. I got it. Those teeth in my mouth, everything. Everybody look at my picture and they was like, Jesus Christ, she's getting old. She looks about 80. Well, we all let's just go in there and sit a while.
Yeah. Oh, can I open mine right now? Since they're coming in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright.
We'll sit on the floor. You can sit up in there.
Masters of the Universe, Castle Grayskull! Daddy!
What?
I can Castle Grayskull!
Castle Grayskull.
See, Daddy?
Oh, wow.
I can Castle Grayskull!
Holy moly!
This is from Santa Claus! to use these last night.
Really?
I had some guy jumping.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. What's this, Grandma? Because I can't squish them together.
That's a good heavy pair. That's a good heavy pair. If you're going to buy a pair, you better get a good set. And also get the junk set.
I can't get nowhere.
Grandma got one?
Stop. I want to give him that model thing.
Who's that from, Grandma?
Me.
That's from Sean.
Here you go, Dad. Oh, you're gonna love this. I'm the one that told
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sean.
Read the card. Read the card. It
That's
says,
from Sean. 2.
Dad's for you.
I love you, Dad. It's Dad's from Sean. Thanks.
Take away wrap it.
Open it up. I want to see that.
Well,
Let's rip it. I love it. That finger pretty handy.
so I can scrape the window off. And
Yeah.
all right, excellent. All right.
Thank you.
I like the one I had. Oh, that was excellent.
Did you open one?
Oh, the big box.
What?
Put a joke on Sean played joke on Grandma.
Chocolate Grandma gets in a big box. She's opening up a big box. She ends up with a little box.
Come on. Alright, this is the best Christmas.
Oh.
This
Can't
one?
hear you. Love that thing. I can't wait to hear this.
A game, a week. Wow.
Give love a bad thing.
He gives you a hug every time he opens one.
It's a marshmallow. This is true.
Living on a prayer. You ever hear that song, Mama?
Yeah.
Living on a prayer? That's an excellent song.
Yeah. Oh, look who escaped me. That's mine.
You got one over there, Thomas?
No, that's mine. That's for me.
Oh,
Tom for Grandma.
that was from Grandma.
This is for Grandma.
Thank you, Grandma.
Sean opens
That's
this.
What do you open up?
my curly.
Oh, I say you got to read them real easy, Sean.
Two shots. I'm open it. Oh, you can open mine, Dad.
Huh?
He's gonna open mine.
Who opened yours?
Sean's gonna open his for me.
Oh. The present Lana got him.
Oh, okay.
What did you do? Oh, my radio!
Oh.
Oh, my, a radio! Now to play. I'm gonna check it out inside. Look at it. Hey, wanna see my new radio?
So, the one I gave you yet?
This one. Huh?
Did you open the one I got you
Big
yet?
Dan.
Who's that money there?
This is yours.
That's nice.
Okay.
Well, that's a cassette player too, Sean.
Huh?
It's a radio and a cassette.
Where? There's no cassette there.
Yeah.
That's where we put the paper. I'm opening Tommy's little one. For me.
Oh, from Tommy to you. Okay, why don't you open up? Take your time now. Why don't you open up your own presents here?
Open up yours.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the paper in everything.
Tapes! Ozzy Osbourne!
What?
Ozzy Osbourne and Ozzy Osbourne!
Two of them with music on them?